the jugular and talk about this the rumors and nastiness about her? Well, we can do that. You know what? You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there.
Out for the...
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Mostly Harmless. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sarah.
And together we're...
Mostly Harmless.
What do we got?
So today we are revisiting Polyfamily because they are quite the buzz over on Reddit, on TikTok. To nobody's surprise, there's a lot of skeletons in their closet, allegedly. So... TAYA has apparently been all guns blazing, threatening to sue people and stuff. So we gotta say, top of the pop, this is all alleged. We don't know these people in real life. We bear no witness to no crimes. We are just talking about the rumors and nastiness.
First, let us get some things out of the way. Kate Christmas, we're getting there.
Yes.
Hold tight.
1,000-pound sisters is coming down the mountain.
I have to watch, I'd say, a good amount of maybe a best of or something, and we just haven't had a lot of time to it lately, and I really want to delve into it deep enough where I can give a three-dimensional view on the show. So we'll get to it when we get to it, but it's on the list. And to the Nigerian prince that sent a letter to our contact page, never let it be said I do not respond to everyone who contacts me, and hang in there, buddy. We'll get to you as well.
Yes, maybe Matt and I won't work out and your love story can bloom.
I only have to give them enough to cover the bank transfer fees. It's only a few $100s.
Your love does cost a thing.
I mean, I think everybody's love does cost something. You know, time and money are the same thing. Give a brief overview for those who did not watch the previous show or have not seen the show of the general gist of Polyfamily.
I made Matt a flow chart, and it's very poor because I used a glitter pen, and that was a bad choice. But
I would
anyway,
say it is more of a diagram than a flow chart.
Yeah, so just so that Matt, and eventually we will get that whiteboard.
Not for you. For me. We will never show you the white. In fact, the whiteboard could be there right now.
But it's not. But it's not. So anyways, I made Matt a cheat sheet so that he can look and go, oh yes, Sean. We are going to mostly be talking about Sean today because he seems to be a big old creep. Allegedly.
Oh, a creep?
Allegedly. We got a lot to talk about. So let's start off in episode 2. So baby Quentin has been born, and as we know, the quad has chosen to willfully ignore who is the biological father of these now 3 young boys.
Within the first few minutes of this section,
right,
it was already Grumpy Gus Sean being like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what was funny to me, it was a rewatch of an episode. We were watching it before we came in to record. What was funny to me is they are so adamant about not knowing paternity, yet all they're doing is guessing who the baby looks like and dimples and blah, blah, blah.
Diagram me. So Tyler is like, you know, going around pointing out this, that, and the other thing. And Sean's just sitting there in his frumpy little frump pod. That's what I'll just call what he sits in, a frump pod. And he's like, oh, everybody says that he got dimples. Oh, no, Tyler's like, they said we don't know who it is, but I've got dimples and he's got dimples and Sean doesn't have dimples. And then Sean cuts in and is just like, everybody's talking about they could see the different kind of things in their paternity, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you don't like that because it's very clearly not leaning in your direction, and in a situation where you're trying to remain impartial to who's the father, you're sad and angry that you are more than likely not the father. And it's awkward.
Now, one of the rumors and nastiness that I want to touch on first. So Sean is significantly older than TAYA. Now, I don't know.
What's significant?
Well, it's come out that apparently, now on the show, they admit that they met at work. Sean was her supervisor. But what is revealed is that she was 18.
A minor. Not really.
And we're going to talk about him possibly trying to reach out to literal minors via the interwebs. So we are going to discuss that. But so Sean's in his late 40s, and they tell us on the show that him and TAYA had been wanting to have kids for a long time. Mm-hmm. They've been, as of the show airing, they've been married for 6 years.
2 episodes in, they've mentioned it in every episode.
Yeah. I'm so scared that this show is going to get pulled a la Adults Adopting Adults, because what is circulating about Sean is some cancelable stuff.
So just in case
allegedly,
just in case we did not put it up, Sarah, you can add the graphic where I go allegedly. And I want like a rainbow and a little bit of sparkles and allegedly, and then views and opinions are ours.
Right. So insert legal disclaimer here.
Yeah, legalese.
Yeah. Don't sue us, TAYA. We have nothing for you. So
you can have some of the stuff in my garage. You can have
my Amazon furniture.
Fuck that. It took me 4 hours to build that thing. Take the shitty plants. Okay,
so one of the things that I had speculated about is that perhaps if Sean and TAYA had been trying to have kids and they hadn't had kids, and then bing, bang, boom, all these kids are coming after they get into this quad situation, is it possible that Sean could have fertility issues? And are all of these kids Tyler's kids?
One thing I will say about that, and this is 100% not researched, but I'm going to go into it anyway. Mm-hmm. A while back, there was a movie that came out. You think you recall it. It's called Daddy's Home, starring Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Yes.
And in that movie, Will Ferrell had an unfortunate incident with an x-ray machine that basically was facing his genitals and made him sterile. Right? He was unable to father his own children. And in that movie, apparently the alpha male coming in, so if you look at Sean, not quite America's alpha male, more of America's body type, but we'll leave that one out there. Comes in, and that caused Will Ferrell's swimmers to pick up, and he was able to have a kid after that. So I don't know how scientifically accurate, if at all, that is. Yeah. But I'm wondering if that is possible, that the presence of a more viable specimen caused his swimmers to figure out the right direction to go in.
Well, apparently what's coming out about dear old Sean is he was married 2 times before TAYA. God. Yes. He has 5 other kids.
Oh, he's got other kids?
Yes. 3 biological from 2 different relationships. And then one of those relationships, the person had children already. So those were step kids. So he has a total of 5 other kids. Apparently, and you were talking about, we've been talking about their tattoos. He has these tattoos on his arms that are apparently cover-ups of his abandoned kids' names.
An ex-lover, I get.
Not
cover that
your
shit
kids.
Up. Your kids are your kids. Even your stepkids. And this is something that I find that people don't really reconcile with. I think I might have gone on this before. If you are entering a situation in which kids are already part of the picture, your responsibility of stepping up as a step parent, if you're marrying into it, obviously, or just being a step, guardian of some kind, if you guys aren't getting married, is so important that you are there as a positive role model. You have to be a part of those kids' lives. And that's real important. You don't just, and then if that doesn't work out, not that I have experience with this, but I'm certain you don't just throw your relationship with those kids away if you spend a significant amount of time, not only that, but married to their mom or dad, you know?
Yeah.
And you cared about them at one point so much you tattooed your arm or your body with their names. And then you just, though he seems like frumpy McGrufflefuck because well, I'm not married to her anymore, so I'm just gonna get these tattoos covered up. That's how I pick. That's my Sean voice, because he just seems like a repressed asshole to me.
Yeah,
and I'm unapologetic about that. Just the way that, like, that argument between him and Tyler, where he's like, "I'm gonna talk to my kid." Well, she's grounded, and that's part of being grounded. It's like, homie, you're not even looking at him. Like that way, that like nonsense way of like shutting down, shitting out your opinion, and not listening. Is toxic. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's a creepy fucking weirdo. So
allegedly. So
allegedly,
people are gonna be like, "Can you stop?" And yes, we can. The answer to that
legally,
is
no, we can't.
Oh yeah,
actually,
well, I don't know. Yeah, how many times you have to?
You only have to state it once per
in a
broadcast.
1 hour podcast.
But I like to cover my bases.
Yes. So in episode 2, you know, they're talking about who the baby looks like, this, that, and whatever. Then, were you there when the part came on about the pull blood type thing?
Only saw, so I haven't watched the entirety of episode 2.
Yeah.
I got pulled in a different direction with our kids' homework.
Right.
But I was there for the next time on, where they basically said, we didn't want to know the blood type, but the blood type, or we didn't want to know the paternity, but the blood type basically tells you the fraternity.
Okay, so let's hit that as scandal number 1. I didn't know, and I was kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, does that make me a bad mom?
I don't know my blood type. I don't know my blood type.
I know my blood type because I donated blood in college, and they send you a card being like, the only A+ I ever got, I'm A positive. So, but anyways,
that was the only A+ you ever got?
Probably. Not a great student. I am failing kindergarten.
Boy.
Kindergarten is hard, you guys.
That's not even gonna talk about it.
I'm scared for first grade.
Move on.
The way they math these days.
You should have seen in the thing. So we were talking to, they're doing Common Core nonsense.
Chat. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just real quick sidebar on this one real quick. There's a group chat I'm in with all the kids from Penny's class, and
not with the kids, with the parents.
Just all the kids. Me and the kids chit-chatting it up, having a good time.
We want to distinguish that because we are talking about Sean
right,
here.
True that. Yeah. With all the parents, and we were all just like, all of a sudden, so I'm doing homework with Penny, and it's nonsense Common Core math, which I haven't been explained to. So not only do I have to extrapolate how to do these equations, which are simple if you ignore, repetition is how we learned, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't want to do that. They say take 15 minus 6 or whatever, but you have to break down 15. That's too big of a number. Right. So split it into number groups and then bibbidi-bobbidi. So you turn one equation into 3 fucking equations. So I figured it out based on the example, and I went and I did this nonsense. It was fucking stupid. Just fucking stupid. If you like Common Core math, fuck off.
I don't know if it's Common Core, but it's something that's
common fucking nonsense,
not what we learned.
And so we get through whatever we get through, and at the last 3, we just did regular old math. Like, let's count on your fingers. It's small numbers. For whatever.
Right, because it is still kindergarten, so it's like kindergarten math equations.
So we did the math, whatever. So we get through this, and then I'm sitting and I'm like, we're doing tutoring with Penny right now. She's having a great time. She's loving it. It's awesome. And I'm in the other room with Hanson, and I am all of a sudden I see a WhatsApp thing pop up.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm just going to paraphrase. What the fuck is with this math homework? And I'm like, thank you. And I jumped in and I'm like, started fucking popping it on there. And I'm like, this is nonsense. And I started going through it. And then we get through this whole thing where we're all just like, this is stupid. My kid says they didn't even learn this stuff. This kid says this. I don't understand this stuff. I tried my best to explain it to them. I said, you know what? At the end of the day, we all agreed that half of us just did the math. Just regular old math, and we'll just deal with the consequence later. But then she goes, well, I hope that, one of the people in the comments, well, I hope that's really all we're ever going to see of this. And I said, sadly, I believe this is only the beginning. It's unlikely we're learning this stupid mechanic to never have to use it again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So
yeah.
right now, Penny has a tutor for reading and spelling. I think we're going to have to add math one of these
I'm going to
days.
secretly teach her regular
But
math.
Penny's really good in math and
She
science.
is. But that's the thing. She's good at it. So this makes her feel like she's not good at math because she can do, let's say, up to 20 with plus and minus, right? Limited equations, like really well. Now you've complicated her already good knowledge of it. And this isn't about Common Core or whatever this math is, but it's stupid. You're making kids feel less smart because you change the way everyone learns. Moving on.
I think Matt's just salty because Penny doesn't know what she doesn't know. It's making parents feel less smart.
Moving on.
All right. Back to science, though. During part of what you missed, there's this whole text message that Tyler sends out to the group chat. Apparently, I don't know, they took baby Q to the doctors because he was having trouble latching with breastfeeding and they were worried about him not regaining. So because it's extremely common for babies to lose weight right after they're born. And then you want to monitor them to make sure that they come back up to at least their birth weight in a short amount of time.
Sure.
You know, there's this whole you're watching for failure to thrive and stuff like that. So anyways, they're taking him to the doctor because they're worried that he's not gaining enough weight. I don't know what goes down at that doctor's appointment. None of our kids have never had their blood drawn at like just a general pediatric visit. I mean, Penny has had her blood drawn, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
Anyway, so they learn the baby's blood type, and Sean Googles and is like, I guess that means we know who the father is because blah, blah, blah.
Let me guess, it's not Sean.
Right. Like, it has to be Tyler because whatever the baby's blood type is, Sean's incompatible with that blood type. So anyways, a hematologist posted on Reddit and said, hematologist here, 2 type B blood type parents can have a type O baby. Sean cannot be ruled out as a father. If Sean and TAYA are both blood type B, there is a 25% chance their baby would be type O blood.
Oh, yeah.
Source, I'm a blood doctor. This is my jam.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you don't need to cite your source. You would be the source. That makes sense. No, but that also makes sense because O positive and O negative, I think one of them is universal blood donor. Yeah. So it would make sense that like you could like that would be like a variation, you know.
So as opposed to doing an actual paternity test,
why bother?
He's just gonna throw a hissy fit and just live in that world.
No, he's gonna go punish his stepkid.
Exactly.
Like he's gonna take out all of this failed paternal
banish
rage.
Raina to the basement.
Yeah, like
yeah, exactly.
What a rube.
What does that
What
mean?
a maroon.
Okay, so
1950s Warner Brothers insults.
So scandal number 2. I don't know if it was in episode 1 or episode 2. When did they have the baby sippancy? Was that episode 2?
Well, it must be because it doesn't sound familiar to me.
Okay, so Tyler's sister comes and nobody's family are accepting except for TAYA's family. I mean, Alicia does say that Sean's family is not accepting because they're all dead or something like that because he's so fucking old. But
well, I mean, then they would not be accepting. They'd just be dead.
I don't know. Maybe they're turning in their graves. Who knows?
Good for them.
But Alicia, her dad cut her off, and Tyler's parents, they just really don't want to be on camera.
So
but
I resonate with that. I think if our kids were in some kind of whatever, I would support them because I love them. But I'd be like, I don't want to be a part of this show.
Well, but his sister Kelsey, she is in the episode. She comes to the sippancy. And she's nice and she's cordial to everybody.
Sip and see? Is that
a sip and see is like a baby shower after the fact. It's you sip and see.
It's like a birthday party.
Kind of, yeah.
For the baby.
It's a reception, if you will.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. So she is all on TikTok these days, and apparently she came to that, but she does not have a relationship with her brother.
Are they all still together according to
yes,
TikTok?
the quad is still together. So Kelsey is very much, I don't have a relationship with my brother. It's not necessarily that she doesn't agree with the lifestyle, but it's these people in particular, because Sean is extremely problematic, and we're gonna get into that. But she is just putting it all out there on TikTok, and everybody that's watching the show is just here for the tea. And apparently TAYA has come for her, like threatening to sue her, and she's like not having it.
No, because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't sue people for just talking about real shit.
I will insert one of Kelsey's TikToks here.
Yes, so this is, like, I feel like a lot of people are just assuming that I don't talk to them for their relationship preferences. No, that's not the case. When my brother told me that he was in a relationship with another married couple, I did think it was weird. I didn't talk to them for like a year. It took me about a year to come around to like the idea of it and being around it. And because I wasn't sure if I even wanted my kid around it. But no, I was in contact with them for years after finding out that he was polyamorous. I don't talk to them because we don't see eye to eye on quite literally anything. Like, we just don't. Our lives are completely different. I live a completely different life than they do. I still love my brother. I will love my brother from a distance, but yeah, it's not because of his relationship choice. I don't care what he does.
Actually, I didn't talk shit about you. I just spoke the truth, and it's your fault if that makes you look like shit.
I just can't with these comments, okay? But it doesn't directly affect me that they are polyamorous. Let's just make that clear. Their relationship preference does not directly affect me, okay? However, the things that do directly affect me are them putting their life out there on a TV show, and then my coworkers, people in my life, seeing all these crazy wild things that are being said and coming to me about it is kind of fucking embarrassing, okay? Like, let's be so for real. Anybody would be embarrassed. Also, I don't know where the comment went. I tried to go back and find it. I couldn't find it, okay? There was a comment that said something along the lines of, if you really care about your brother, you would clear up all the rumors that are being said about them. Do I look like that's my job to do? The rumors are not about me. And I'm not going to clear something up and say it is or isn't true when I only have half details. I feel like if anybody should be clearing up the rumors that are being addressed, it is the quad themselves. If you have proof that these things are not true, post it.
It's odd to it's wild to me that, like, so I get how the Love is Blind does it. I get how the Circle does it. You know, like, it's hard to do a reality show about humans in their natural habitat and keep mystery alive, because there's social media. There's cameras everywhere. People who aren't necessarily directly related to these people but know them are going to post everything about them, because tabloids and reality commentators are all going to want as much information, even in the periphery, as they can get. So the fact that they're able to get any kind of anonymity before the show airs is astounding to me, because in all of this stuff, there's so many people who want 6 dimensions of these shows.
Well, what's wild to me is that these people, in particular on Polyfamily, this quad, they have been seeking
a third
fame for a while, and they've attained a certain level of that on social media. And apparently Taya like has a girlfriend or something. So
Yeah, that was what they touched upon in the first episode.
but they still consider this their foursome, like the core four or whatever.
Foursome,
I don't know.
Fivesome, who cares?
I
at this
don't know.
point, right?
But these are the allegations that are starting to come out about Sean. And so what's interesting is, to your point, they're not just going on this show to like advocate for the lifestyle. Like you could say the Browns did when Sister Wives
The
first came
Seeking
out.
Sister Wives show was advocating for
100
it.
years
Yeah.
ago. Right. So these people have been chasing fame for a while. So you would think like you would cross your T's and dot your I's and make sure that you've like sufficiently tucked your skeletons away if need be. But that is not happening because we are literally, our podcast episode is gonna go out on Wednesday. So episode 3 will have been out for Polyfamily, but we are just upon a 3rd episode and all of this shit is coming out.
Well, if it's nothing,
It does not take long to
No, it does not.
unearth. Yeah.
No,
So these are some of the allegations against Sean.
go for it.
Apparently, Sean started dating Taya when she was 18 and he was still married. He ended up leaving his wife and 5 kids for Taya. Now, we'll touch more on those 5 kids later on. Apparently, Sean covered up tattoos he had of the kids he abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Sean's ex-wife is claiming he was physically abusive.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. He seems very pent up.
Yep. Sean has been accused of having inappropriate electronic communications with minors. And we will touch on that more in a second because I actually have a DCS letter that was pulled off of Reddit by the person that posted it, but I had downloaded it before it got deleted. So go me.
Good for you.
Yeah. And people, and we'll touch on this when we get to the letter, people are saying, because it does contain a whole bunch of typos, that it could be doctored, it could be fake. But then other people are saying, hey, I actually work for the city. This is like super common, like typos and shit like that.
Yeah. Just 'cause
like
they're a city
typos
or
doesn't
government
necessarily.
worker.
So I will say, in all fairness, the legitimacy of the letter has been called into question. And Sean has not been convicted of anything. So all of this is, say it with us, class.
Allegedly.
Yes. Sean allegedly, has been fired for sexual harassment allegations. Apparently, this dude can't hold a job because he gravitates towards jobs where he works with kids. And every time he gets a job, people call and say, hey, this dude's a fucking creep. And he gets fired. Allegedly. Yeah. So someone posted, and now people are, this is just all people can talk about on Reddit and on TikTok. And someone actually posted this that I shall read to you.
Go for it.
As someone who knows them personally and chose to end our friendship last year, but will remain anonymous because Taya likes the drama and has threatened to sue, I'll clarify a few things I know. 1, Taya and Sean moved to Lebanon, which is a city in Oregon, not the country. So Tyler and Alicia didn't have to move/uproot their kids. The timing worked out well due to inappropriate allegations Sean had also. Mind you, he was never charged, but has been accused of inappropriateness with minors more than once.
I think once is enough for me to cut ties with someone.
Well, okay, but once can be a false allegation. But more than one, maybe there's a where there's smoke, there's fire situation happening.
Well, my personal opinion is if you're being accused of something like that, you're at the very least in a place you shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's very rare that someone...
You're at least operating in a gray area, and there should not be a gray area when it comes to children.
Because I'm 100% about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, when you were accused of that kind of stuff, we're talking about like inappropriate conversations at the very minimum with children. not very often do people just get blindly accused with no evidence. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare. Not that it doesn't happen, but even if you are completely not doing what they're saying you're doing, you're in a position and you've clearly made somebody feel uncomfortable. And people need to be aware of that kind of shit because, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, you still did something wrong, even if you didn't do something illegal. We need to remember that still exists. Go on.
Okay. Point 2. Sean had 2 wives prior to TAYA at different times and has 5 kids that he abandoned after starting his relationship with TAYA. Those kids are a combination of biological 3 and step children 2. Tyler, Sean, and Alicia all work, but Tyler as an electrician and Alicia for the city are the true breadwinners. Sean has trouble holding jobs, but has always done special ed assistant, camp counselor, etc. related to kids.
How were these people still together? Like, there's no way in life I would ever intermingle my family the way that they have. But like, so, okay, great. You're intermingled. You're a quadruple or whatever you want to call yourself.
Close
quad nonsense. One of you has multiple allegations of inappropriate behavior being the least of them.
And you have a daughter.
Right. And you're super creepily defensive of the daughter in the house that's not your kid. Like, you're very weird about that.
Yep.
Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I tried to have a conversation with Sean, this is Tyler, about him grounding my daughter, blah, blah, blah. I'd say, if you talk to my daughter in her room and the door is even a little closed, I'm going to beat the living shit out of you. Like, I would be like, there's no way I would continue upon this nonsense.
What is going on
here? If Sean's wife wants out, then go thruple or quadruple or close quad yourself with your girlfriend and your wife and your girlfriend's girlfriend. Like, do that and get rid of Sean if that's really what you want. Because I'm sure Sean's wife wants the fuck out of this.
This is making me go, Alicia girl, what the fuck, dude?
Well, but then there's the people who are like, not my man. It's like,
well, you gotta put your kids above your marriage, dude. Like, if your husband has he's into some freaky deaky shit that you don't want to do, don't want to participate in, but he wants to introduce a literal, like, sus as fuck person to always be around your kid. No.
And I may not have the proper emotional intelligence to discuss this conversation, but I will do it anyways. I think that Sean is a real piece of work.
That took me
real piece of work.
So I don't know, what am I on? 4?
Yeah,
Point 4.
sure.
Sean got a vasectomy during his previous marriage, so
maybe that's why he can't have kids.
Okay, and he reversed it to have kids with TAYA. Then both Tyler and Sean had vasectomies. So the literal office clip of snip, snap, I'll put that in here.
Please.
When you said that you might want to have kids and I wasn't so sure, who had the vasectomy reversed? And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, who had it reversed back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. I did. Okay. You have no idea the physical toll the 3 vasectomies have on a person.
Please
so they both had...
Do you have any idea how painful 3 vasectomies can have on a person?
So both of Tyler and Sean had vasectomies during TAYA's most recent pregnancy. People have asked why TAYA stopped at 2 biological children. It is because she didn't enjoy pregnancy and it was rough for her. I understand that completely.
Yeah,
I myself did not enjoy pregnancy. And I feel like that's something that, like, women were afraid to admit.
That shit.
For me, I'm super appreciative and I feel privileged that I was able to get pregnant. That is not to take away from that, but I straight up did not have a good time.
It is not
while pregnant.
Yeah, it's not shitting on anyone's parade. Like, enjoy, do your thing. I'm like, but it's okay to say that something is not a fun experience all around.
Yeah.
Like, having kids, spectacular, but also a fucking shit show half the time too. You know, I love my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so good with the bad, right?
So next point, they are not a closed quad. Taya will never be satisfied with just what she has now.
The door's like
Her
propped open.
Her current girlfriend, Alexis, is also polyamorous and has a decent following on social media. She is married to a man named Chris. Both are poly, have 5 kids, and Alexis also has a boyfriend. I don't think Chris is seeing anyone else currently, but often does. Her backstory and theirs is pretty complex also. And then this person goes on to say, I will reiterate that all of the allegations against Sean have been unfounded or not pursued. Does that mean they aren't true? I have no idea. But I will say it is concerning that he continues to work with children and have children with these previous accusations against him. And he's had multiple accusations, not just one. I will also address Tyler's sister. Her name is Kelsey, and I know she's gotten a lot of backlash. I do not think anything she has said or posted is for clout. I think she has genuine concern for not only her brother, but her niece and nephew, and the other children that have been brought into this situation. She sees a side of it that a lot do not see and has been threatened by Taya repeatedly for telling the truth.
Ooh.
Taya and Sean are control freaks. Tyler and Alicia are pushovers. I never thought Alicia truly wanted this. I think she simply did it to appease Tyler. She always is prioritized last. Her and Sean are an awful match, and I truly feel bad for her. Lastly, Tyler genuinely did not mean to expose who the father of Q was, but he also wasn't sorry that it happened. I do believe that Sean is always in charge, and Tyler is getting to the point that he's tired of being pushed around.
Yeah.
And they wrapped this post up saying, no, I'm not looking for clout either, but just know you only see a snippet of their life on TV. Those that know them know a lot more, and everything that Sean seems to be, he is and worse.
Creepy guy. He didn't, in no point during this documentary do I feel like they were going out of their way to make him into a creepy guy, because I think if they were trying to do that, this documentary or this docu-series or whatever you call it, reality show, I'm
this
not
show, because we don't know if it's only going to be one
Right.
season or...
But I don't think they would have been able to get made if they had indications that the allegations against him were true, because they would be opening themselves up to putting out that kind of stuff.
That seems like the obvious thought to fall back on.
We'll see.
But I don't know.
No, I mean, they're insulated insofar as like they'll just do it. They'll scrub it and they'll pull it off the air.
He hasn't been convicted or charged with anything, but it seems like he has been investigated multiple times.
You're losing jobs, right? You're
Yep.
getting fired. So I ran a Jersey Mike's in Van Nuys for a little bit. I was a manager over there. And I was like 23, I think, at the time. And a lot of the kids that worked there were like, from 16 to 20,
Right.
younger kids.
Yeah.
And there were these two, there was a girl who was like dating a couple of the guys between the time I worked there, two different guys, and it got a little messy, as it does, which is why you don't date coworkers. But there was a time where she had complained that one of the male employees there, both of these two were of age. One of the male employees had been basically sexual harassing in ways that were a little bit more than just like, 1950s sexual, like the more modern version of what we would consider to be sexual harassing. So I had to spend the better part of my day and night at Jersey Mike's trying to figure out the best way to handle this situation. And that guy caught wind that I was trying to deal with that. And so he angrily came into the shop and started getting really defensive and upset and saying, none of this is true, and this bitch and that bitch and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I understand that I don't have any evidence here. I'm not firing you and I'm not trying to get rid of you. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But what I am going to say to you is that you're in a situation that is very difficult to get yourself out of, because when you found out that people were saying this stuff about you, instead of coming calmly in here, you came in throwing hand grenades left and right, which sent a defensive vibe and made you seem like it was even worse than it really was. And I'm like, I'm not saying that we're going to do anything about this. I'm like, but your best bet is to GTFO until this whole situation figures itself out. I'm like, I don't have grounds to fire you. I'm like, but the longer you stick around here where she's inside and now you're in a threatening position is making this even worse for you. So it's like, yeah, like, cool. Allegations in that situation were never followed through or anything else. There was never investigated. I'm like, but I was like, guy, your best bet is to just fuck off until this thing either peters out or you have something that says you're innocent. I wouldn't be around here right now. I'm like, it's not in your best interest to sit here trying to angrily fix the problem.
Yeah.
So just because allegations are not proven or followed through doesn't mean you can't just maybe avoid the situation, you know?
Right.
Like,
so let's talk about this DHS letter. So to set a little bit of a backstory, I guess Sean used to live in another state. I'm not sure. Or maybe another city. I don't know. But this is the Department of Human Services in Oregon. So his ex-wife filed for like an immediate order of protection or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
And then that triggered like a DHS investigation because it was to protect their kids from
well,
him.
of course it would.
Yeah.
You can't just file something like that, not because that also, let's say she was filing it erroneously, you know, like erroneously, like they have to investigate to make sure that everyone is protected in that situation.
So this letter is from 2016. Again, people are speculating on the legitimacy of this letter, being that there's typos and whatnot, but other people have chimed in that work for local governments that say, oh, that's really not that big of a surprise.
If I worked and I had to write those letters, they'd be littered with typos.
I was just going to say, because I've been following the Karen Reed case, some of the motions filed by the prosecution in particular have been riddled with just misnomers and typos, and it's that also that's just speaks to a lack of proofreading, and that doesn't even speak to a lack of intelligence. So anyways, take it for what you will. Believe this to be true or not. This is just what was posted to Reddit, and then it was taken down. It was removed by the person who posted it. So it wasn't removed by like the moderators or anything like that. But it says, this letter is to provide you a summary of your recent child welfare assessment. DHS received a call of concern regarding Sean Harmless, indicating that he allegedly had inappropriate sexual interactions online or via a phone app with a minor child in another state. Sean is currently being investigated by detectives in New Mexico, and limited information can be provided regarding the criminal case. Because of this concern, DHS is assessed Sean for threat of harm, sexual abuse / exploitation against the children in your home. After careful review of police records and a full DHS assessment, the case was closed with a founded disposition. It is believed that if Sean is a threat to one child, he is a potential threat to all children. It is concerning that Sean may have legal rights to see and visit with your shared children. After meeting with you, it is my impression that you are a safe and able parent who is willing to put the needs of the children above your own and act protectively. If you have any questions regarding your case, please contact me. I think this was sent to Sean's ex-wife.
Well, that certainly wasn't sent to him.
No.
Allegedly.
So.
Give me an A. No. I don't know. I mean, again, it doesn't... If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it sexually harasses minors like a duck, what are you going to do? I, especially when it comes to matters with children, think that stuff like that, even allegations, should be taken mortally serious.
I mean, maybe there's not enough smoke there to put the man in jail or charge him criminally. But Alicia, girl, what are you doing moving your almost teenage daughter into a house with him?
That was 2016, that letter.
Yes.
So think about that. you don't know random shit about humans, right? Before they're famous, right? That letter's floating around there. It's not like it came out in spite of the show. Came out before the show was even a concept. That existed. This isn't some kind of like, oh, well, if the letter is to be believed or in real. It's not like, oh, well, now that the show's out, let's all start sending out these letters to make sure that we're trying to get our 15 minutes of fame of investigating and stuff like that. No, that stuff was all existing in the ether before this show even was a concept. So it's not, maybe it be brought to light now is one thing. I'm like, but that is probably the minimum of things that has gone around this guy. You just regular people. Yes, if you look hard enough and you dig hard enough, you can find stuff about regular people off the side of the road. But it's not easy. So the fact that people can even find these things, is, if there's something to be found, it will be found.
Yeah.
Leave it to the masses.
And I want to address Alicia and Tyler together, but the reason why I'm more so looking at Alicia, it's clear in just the 2 going on 3 episodes that we've watched of this show that Alicia it seems like she's being emotionally held hostage in this situation. Is she there of her own recognizance? I cannot honestly say, yes, I believe she is. I think she desperately wants to hang on to her marriage. And so she is sacrificing her children's safety in order to do that. And that is appalling.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that is... I have such an issue with people who cannot, like, the kids are so much more important than your relationships. Your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, is very important.
So therefore, I'm looking at you, Alicia. If Tyler wants to be with TAYA, which it seems like he really just wants to be with TAYA, then take your kids and go.
I wouldn't want my kids around this guy with a 30-foot fucking pole.
Then Tyler can come and have visitation wherever you are. But it doesn't seem like, and I'm not trying to be an alarmist or trying to over exaggerate the situation, but people I've seen on TikTok are claiming that this Quad family is receiving CPS reports concerned about the welfare of Raina.
Well, listen, let's do the math here, okay? The guy has founded, whatever allegations against him.
Legally not been charged with a crime.
But enough allegations, and he's living in the same house with a young female minor, which seems to be his fucking bread and butter for what you can actually go and look it up. What is conclusive is that one of his ex-wives did get some sort of immediate order of protection against him. I don't know if that's the actual legal thing she got, but it was something where it was an emergency, stay the fuck away from me. You're such a big fucking piece of trash. This little shitbag, since the moment I saw him, he just seemed like a big piece of fuck. I don't his demeanor is that of just a closed off piece of garbage. And I stand by everything I say about him. Not knowing the creepy pedo shit that he's into, allegedly, he still seems like a piece of trash. Even on the show, he's just a monument of my way or the highway, his attitude is just so and this stupid we don't want to know who the dad is, but everybody's going around saying they got this and I don't like that, blah blah, that whole bullshit. It's dude, this is not your fucking place. I don't know why you would even want to be in this. This doesn't seem like it didn't. My last time I talked about this doesn't seem like something you wanted to do, so I don't know why you would want to do it. But Look at our track record as Americans in reality style stuff. You take ordinary people, put them into extraordinary situations, and what do we find? Jared from Subway. Like it turns out it only takes the right limelight to show off people, or just a lot of people out there are just privately shitty people, and then you put them in public and they turn into regular
I just don't know. Like, I don't know what TAYA, like, what her motivation is. I mean, clearly she wants to be famous because she is the driving force behind all their social media and stuff like that. But why hitch your ride to someone like that? It seems like she has no problem getting partners. Why hang on to Sean?
No.
You know? I don't.
Doesn't make any sense to me. And I just, again, he doesn't seem, in any of this show, has he seemed like a caring individual. He's an authoritative person. It is all the stuff and it's just all what they're showing us. So yeah, I'm only able to talk. I don't know them personally, but I wouldn't want to hang out with this guy.
Well, someone who does know them personally
says it's all that and more.
Exactly.
And it's just a big pile of like, I don't know, all of a sudden he feels like he's the sheriff and he has to do all this stuff. I'm like, meanwhile, dude, I don't know how they're still in this.
Yeah, everybody seems miserable.
And I mean, like, you're saying that even after this show has wrapped, because it's all done.
Yeah.
Years, it's been done and edited. So it's a long time since the show.
It's in the can, for sure.
So
I don't know how long ago they filmed this, but...
Right. We're just saying they're still, with all these allegations swirling, if I even caught wind that if there was a parent of a kid at the school that my kids go to that had swirling allegations like this, I would not allow my kids anywhere near that person. And that would be like, I would make sure they get dropped off and picked up without ever interacting with that person. And that's the end of it. I don't give a shit. Like, my kids come before any of your nonsense. Whether it be true or not, if it's enough to be out there, I'm going to err on the side of protecting the kids, which is something that a lot of fucking organizations fail to do. So it's just staggering to me that these people are able to continue living in this foursome, fivesome, whatever the fuck it's going to end up being, with this just fucking douchebag of a guy. Like, even if you're not a pedophile or whatever it is that they're being accused of, which is a lot of stuff that seems to be a little stantiated, maybe not substantiated, but a little stantiated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be for this. Now, I wouldn't be for polyfamily in general. I'm happy with the way things are. I'm like, but I certainly wouldn't be like, hey, let's bring a sex offender into our lives and see how it goes. Oh, sorry. An unprosecuted sex offender.
An unfounded potential just is super sketch.
Let's roll the dice with a pervert in our lives, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's it. That's all I got for that. I mean, I'm going to watch this show now twice as hard. I didn't know until we started this that he was a creepy creep. I just thought he was a douchebag up until now.
Yeah. It's, we love to watch trash, but when there's a
safe trash.
Exactly. When there's a dark element, it's like, oh, come on. Like,
and it's always going to be with kids, dude.
Yeah. Like, now you got to take the fun out of it, because now it's like, this is gross.
Just fucking heinous. And, and it's way to go, TLC. You got another one. Yeah. Like, and, they're sitting there. They're looking over their shoulder all the way to the bank. That's all. They're cashing in on this until they decide that they legally have to take it down. And then they'll go and do damage control, but the damage is already done because you've popularized just a fucking creep at the very least.
And this family is such a mess that I could see if nothing legal ever comes of Sean's allegations, they'll be on TV for decades to come.
Well, something evil this way comes, but we shall see. And for now, that's all we got on this one. I think that's a wrap. on this one. Well, like I said, we'll check in. We'll pop in, and as we need for filler from here and there, we'll probably do more episodes on this show. I mean, really, the worse it gets, the more I would, even if we're just bringing light to the 2 or 3 people that watch us from time to time, I'd be happy to let other people know that this guy's a fucking creep. So the more that we know, the more we will tell you.
Yes.
But that's it. We got to go. We got to wrap up. We got things to do. We got kids to well, they're probably all asleep by now.
Hopefully.
So, I'm hoping. But, well, I got to go play video games and relax a little bit. You know, it's the end of the day.
Unwind.
Got to chill, got to zone, got to zonk. So we got to go. Find us anywhere on the social medias. Do mostly. No harm. Anywhere social media can be found. You can go ahead and head on over to www.level42studios.com to submit a question, comment, or concern on our contact page, or look at all the crazy nonsense we have up on that website. You can watch every episode of our show here, Sarah's individual shows, Sarah Spills and Reality Squad, and a bunch of other crap that I've worked on and I've just put up there as I had nowhere else to put it. Other than that, Sarah's back to doing her lives on Mondays. Catch that on her YouTube channel. And that's it. That's all I got. So,
That's all she wrote, folks.
So as always,
Do mostly.
no harm.
Have a good one. Bye.